Picture this. You're standing in your garden, hands deep in the soil, pulling up carrots you grew yourself. The cost of living keeps climbing. Supermarket shelves feel emptier. And suddenly, this patch of earth feels like freedom. Across the UK, more people than ever are rediscovering the power of growing their own. Not just for the taste of a fresh tomato, but for something much bigger. Today, we're exploring why growing your own is making a comeback, and why it's about far more than just food. Let's begin with one of the clearest reasons so many people are turning to growing their own: the economy. Across the UK, food prices have climbed sharply over recent years. Rising fuel costs means it's more expensive to transport and store what we eat. Add in the effects of global supply chain disruptions, from pandemics to geopolitical tensions, and even getting food onto shelves has become more costly. As if that wasn't enough, extreme weather has battered harvests, further tightening supply and pushing prices up. A simple weekly shop now takes a bigger bite out of household budgets than ever before. That's where growing your own comes in. For many, it's a practical way to soften the impact of rising living costs. A packet of seeds, costing a few pounds, can provide kilos of fresh fruit or vegetables over a season. Far better value than buying the same produce week after week. But beyond the financial saving, there's a deeper satisfaction in knowing you're less exposed to the whims of the market. When your food comes from your own soil, whether it's a back garden, a patio of pots, or a shared allotment, you gain more than a harvest. You gain something steady, something certain, in a time when so much feels unpredictable. Also, if this resonates with you, let us know in the comments. Are you growing anything this year? And don't forget to subscribe. We're just getting started. In an age where food production often feels industrialized and distant, growing your own has become a quiet, everyday act of reclaiming control. Think for a moment about how dependent most of us are on complex supply chains. Supermarkets stock our shelves, but behind those shelves lies a vast network of producers, distributors, and transporters. When that network runs smoothly, we hardly notice it. But as recent years have shown, whether through Brexit-related delays, pandemic lockdowns, or extreme weather disrupting imports, those links can break down. The result? Empty shelves, limited choices, and sudden price spikes that leave us feeling powerless. This is where growing your own, even in small ways, makes a big difference. A pot of salad leaves on the balcony, a raised bed of carrots in the garden, or a plot at the local allotment. Each of these reduces dependence on systems beyond our control. There's no middleman between you and your dinner. You decide what to grow, how to grow it, and when to harvest. You know exactly what went into your food, and where it came from. And the impact of this goes deeper than the meal itself. The simple act of growing shifts us from being passive consumers to active producers. It brings a quiet kind of confidence and security that no shop-bought item can match. In this sense, control isn't just about the food on the plate. It's about the connections we form, not only with what we eat, but with those around us. As more people rediscover the power of growing their own, they're finding that the benefits extend well beyond the garden fence. In towns and cities across the UK, allotments, those traditional shared plots of land, are seeing a remarkable revival. Allotments have deep roots in British history, originally provided to help working families grow food in urban areas. But in recent decades, many sites fell into neglect or were repurposed for housing. Now, demand has surged back. Councils report waiting lists stretching for years in some regions, with people eager for a slice of soil to call their own. What's driving this renewed interest? Partly, it's the economic and personal control we've just explored, but it's also the sense of connection that comes with working alongside others. Allotments are more than plots. They're communities. On any given Saturday, you'll find neighbors swapping seedlings, sharing surplus crops, lending tools, or simply chatting over a cup of tea. It's a place where knowledge is passed down, friendships are formed, and help is always nearby when a job proves too big for one pair of hands. There's something grounding about tending an allotment. The rhythm of planting, weeding, and harvesting ties people back to the natural cycles of the year. And in a world that often feels rushed and digital, the simple act of working the soil offers welcome relief. In these shared spaces, what starts as an individual effort becomes part of something larger, a patchwork of growers, each contributing to a more resilient, local food culture. And while these shared spaces strengthen our ties to each other, they also open our eyes to the deeper impact of how we grow, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. When people come together in allotments, gardens, or community plots, something larger begins to take root. What starts as a way to feed ourselves or connect with neighbors often grows into a quiet but powerful statement about the kind of world we want to live in. Today, more and more UK growers see their efforts as part of a bigger picture. Growing your own isn't just about saving money or finding calm in the soil. It's about making choices that challenge the status quo. Every homegrown vegetable is one less item wrapped in plastic packaging. Every home compost bin is a small step away from sending waste to a landfill. Every bee-friendly flower sown between rows of veg helps rebuild the biodiversity that industrial farming has pushed to the margins. For many, this shift is intentional. People want to reduce their food miles, avoid pesticides, and support local ecosystems. Some see their garden beds as a small act of resistance, rejecting the environmental harm caused by intensive agriculture and global supply chains. In this way, a humble courgette or a row of broad beans becomes a symbol of self-determination, sustainability, and care for the planet. And it's not just what we grow, but how we grow together. Community seed swaps, shared tools, and cooperative projects are all part of this grassroots movement. In the end, the simple act of planting a seed can carry meaning far beyond the harvest. And with each season, more people are realizing that their small choices can add up to something significant. And while these choices may begin with the planet in mind, they often end up nurturing something closer to home, the well-being of the people who tend the soil. When people set out to grow their own food, they might start with practical goals, saving money, eating fresher, or helping the environment. But as the months pass, many discover a quieter, unexpected benefit, the profound impact gardening has on the mind. The simple routines of sowing, watering, and harvesting provide a rhythm that modern life often lacks. In a world filled with screens, noise, and constant demands, time spent in the garden offers space to breathe. The soil doesn't rush, plants take the time they need, and in following that pace, gardeners often find their own stress and anxiety begin to ease. This isn't just anecdotal. Studies across the UK have shown that gardening can lower cortisol levels, reduce symptoms of depression, and boost overall mood. During the pandemic lockdowns, gardens and allotments became lifelines for mental health. Seed sales soared, and people who never planted a thing before found unexpected solace in tending even the smallest patch of green. There's also the simple physical benefit. Gardening gets us moving, encourages us outdoors, and reconnects us with nature in ways that can feel deeply restorative. A morning of weeding or planting can feel more refreshing than hours spent at a gym. And as with so much of this movement, the mental health rewards often grow strongest where there's connection. A chat over the fence, help from a fellow plot holder, or shared pride in a thriving garden bed. These moments nourish more than just the soil. What's striking is how all of these threads, economics, control, community, environment, and well-being come together. And as these creative solutions take root in cities, they're pointing the way towards what the future of growing your own might look like, blending tradition with innovation in ways we're only beginning to explore. It's a common misconception that growing your own is only for those with gardens or allotments. In reality, some of the most creative and determined growers in the UK are working with the smallest of spaces and proving that even a balcony or windowsill can produce something meaningful. Urban areas might lack open ground, but they're bursting with opportunities for small-scale growing. A pot of mint by the kitchen door, strawberries in hanging baskets, or a few containers of salad leaves on a balcony. All of these provide fresh food and the satisfaction that comes with it. Small scale doesn't mean small impact. Across cities like London, Birmingham, and Manchester, community garden projects are transforming forgotten spaces. Patches of disused land, council estates, and rooftop terraces are now being turned into shared growing areas. Initiatives such as Capital Growth, Incredible Edible, and dozens of grassroots projects are helping people access land and learn the skills to cultivate it. What's remarkable is how these spaces not only produce food, but also build connection in areas where isolation can be strongest. Technology has helped fuel this urban gardening boom. Apps help city growers plan their planting schedules, troubleshoot problems, and connect with others for seed swaps and advice. And innovative solutions like vertical gardens, hydroponic kits, and microgreen trays mean even the smallest corner of a flat can become a productive patch. What urban growers show is that you don't need much space to experience the benefits of growing your own. Basically, from country allotments to high-rise balconies, the return to growing your own is about far more than what ends up on our plates. It's about taking back a little control in a world that often feels unpredictable. It's about creating green spaces where connection can grow between people, communities, and nature itself. And it's a reminder that no space is too small and no effort is too modest to make a difference. If this inspired you, hit like, subscribe for more on sustainable living, and let us know in the comments, what are you growing this season?